Welcome to the Essence of the Soul.
A safe haven for all souls.
My name is Linda.
And my name is Paris, and welcome to episode 11. Today we're going to be talking about Life Path 3. So this is a beautiful life path number because I'm actually Life Path 3.
And she's a beautiful person.
Thank you so much. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so Life Path 3 is very special because it's actually the Holy Trinity. So here we talked about Life Path 1 already.
And Life Path 2.
Yep.
So 1 was the masculine, 2 is the feminine, and 3 is
the Holy Trinity. So if you actually go back to our previous episode of Life Path 1, which was episode 9, we actually go over how to calculate your life path numbers and things like that. So you can find all of the information over there. But for Life Path 3, as the Trinity is actually the divine child. So the divine child, it concludes pretty much the first trio. So here we combine these 3 numbers, and 3 is actually a number to be, a creator, a manifester, somebody who's a visionary. And they are people who can kind of just make like something out of nothing. These are like your very creative entertainment type of people. So they have this massive potential for creation, and that could be even like through creating children, so creating life, creating art, creating, whatever it is that this Life Path 3 kind of brings to the earth realm. So they're curious, adventurous, and they're also represented by the astrological sign of Gemini, which is an air sign. So if you can already guess, air signs, they talk a lot. So these people, they're very funny, sarcastic. They have like this great sense of humor. 3s are just, they have like a jokester to them as well. They're, inventive, innovative. They like to create things so they can kind of come up with ideas quickly. And they're considered lucky because as a divine child, they're actually the universe's favorite child. Not necessarily the human parent's favorite child, but, as we have, the divine masculine, which is kind of like a father energy, and then we have the divine feminine, which is a mother energy, then we have the divine child, which is the child, the universe's child. So the universe loves their Life Path 3s, and, they just give a lot to them. So they kind of have like this happy-go-lucky kind of life, and they didn't really sign up for a lot of trauma. You'll see, like, as we continue talking about these life path numbers, they have a lot of different types of trauma that they bring, that they sign up for, so every single life path you sign up for a certain, when you incarnate, this is the life path that you kind of decide to go by. And so, they're easy to inspire, and they usually draw a lot of inspiration through the air. So you'll see a lot of times Life Path 3s will just kind of like, walk in life, and all of a sudden they have all of these ideas, these visions, these, creative sparks that just kind of come to them. And it's all just, it's coming through the air, like they talk a lot, they think a lot, they have just a huge brain of like ideas.
I will say, like, as an air sign too, you get your creativity through speaking about it verbally. So as you continue to speak about it, more insights start to come, and like you're just like full of creativity. 3s are actually known to be creative geniuses. So that's really amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, with that type of energy, they are actually meant to be around people too. So these Life Path 3s, they have to be around people because they need to express themselves. They need to be able to share this with people, So that's a part of their general like energy, I would say. So kind of getting into like growing up as a child, they say that these type of children, Life Path 3, can be, children who are kind of like considered having like ADHD, but not necessarily like a diagnosis. It's more kind of like, and, this is said with a lot of love, which is, they really can't focus on just like one thing. Like sometimes they say things and another thing comes up and another thing and another thing, and like it just
I find that usually happens with people that are very creative because they have so many different insights, so many things that come up, and ideas that they're constantly thinking about too, like the next thing to be creative about, the next thing to like express their creativity. Yes. And so it puts them in a state where they can't really focus as much. or they don't really look at one thing at a time. It's more of like many things all at once.
Yes, and that's pretty much what their talents or their art kind of shows too. And you'll see, like, as kids, they're also known to be like the troublemakers, but mostly because, like, for example, I feel like threes, they can be kind of clumsy. They can break things easily. They can kind of, like if you give them like a piece of paper, their artwork would just be like straight messy, but it would be like the most beautiful thing. It's like a free spirited type of energy where their creative work is just a reflection of them because they are messy risk takers, like their energy is just so free flowing too that they can do anything with it. They're very just open to that type of realm. So, like I said, they're free spirited. They love new experiences. So these are the type of kids where like you would say, hey, let's go do this. And they would be like all for it. Like, let's go on a roller coaster. They would do it. They love experiences.
Very childlike auras. They are very like down to earth and just going with the flow and having fun, adventurous, spontaneous.
Yes.
One thing about threes too is that their superpower is their voice. Their expression is through communication. And so most of the time life path threes have a very distinct voice that you will remember them by. Which is like, that's their superpower, and that's what they're meant to utilize to reach out to, humanity and help the collective that way.
Exactly. And I mean, like I said, they love people, so they have to be around people. These people, they do like dancing, they do, sports, like they love to share activities with people, and like this is who they are as children and who they kind of grow up to be too. They're very open-minded, wear their heart on their sleeve, and like you said, they talk a lot. So life path threes, be very careful because a lot of them will share things about themselves that, they don't necessarily need to be shared. So be cautious of the things you share. A lot of times they share things that are just, for your own, information to know, not for everybody else to know. And then another thing too is they say that life path threes are like instant friend makers. Like they can make any friends like instantly, and it's mostly because they're just this type of energy where like you could just get along with them.
It's like this extrovertedness where like they're so talkative and like so easygoing too. It makes it easy to make friends.
And they're like, they're silly, they're funny, they know how to like have a sense of humor, they can laugh about things. But they also, say that the disclaimer here is that they can also tend to forget about you easily too. So like you could be a really good friend of theirs, but at the same time, if they love you, they really love you. But if they get bored, they get really bored too. And that's kind of like something about like a life path 3.
I guess that kind of goes into like the challenges that comes with the life path 3 too, is that like 3s, they're very communicative, very expressive. So sometimes like they may not allow others to speak because they're so busy speaking, but that's just because they haven't learned how to listen yet, and that's okay. That's part of like those challenges that you have to work through, learning how to express yourself in a healthy way. And like you said, sometimes they either overexpress or underexpress. You kind of have to find that balance in between. Usually when they don't express enough, it's due to like being scared of what others might think about them, and that kind of like shuts them down a little bit.
Yes.
So with, of course, like this creative energy that they have, like, we know there's two sides to everything: creation and destruction. So with 3s, because of their communicative nature, they may sometimes disguise criticism with their humor because they are the jokesters. So sometimes this could push others away and could kind of like, push friendships and, cause like disconnects. But realizing your power, which is your voice that can create inspiration, uplift others, or, the power to destruct and destroy relationships, is something to keep in mind.
Yeah, for sure. Life path 3, as as they get older too, and their inner child healing, they really just can't be pinned down either. These people, they need freedom. They need to get out into the world. They can't experience this boredom. They can't, just stay in one place because as a child, they do actually have some issues with authority. So parents, even teachers, things like that also, because, they don't like being told what to do. And it's really funny to say, but their trauma is ultimately boredom. And it's not that they're like it's just boredom. It's that, they don't like to be in one place. Like,
Stuck.
yes, they
Yeah.
need to be like doing something. They're, like we said, as children they can be said to have like ADHD because they have to be stimulated constantly. So sometimes they put themselves in like situations where they could like kind of cause some trouble, and that's where it kind of gets into this frustration with the authoritative figure. So moving, kind of on the life path 3, they really thrive on community. So they might, the mind and the heart spirit. So the masculine, the feminine from the 1 and the 2 is, the mind and the heart, which is something that they already embody, but they also have to learn how to balance and align. Because from here, they need like people and socialization, and they need to be able to like take control of their life as they grow up as an adult. So another like trauma, like you said too, is actually just not being accepted by like people or friend groups. They, being told that they're too much, or, just getting judged in general. And these people, they're happy in their childhood most of the time, but it can actually go downhill as an adult, because as an adult, you have to learn how to do like different responsibilities, commitments with, relationships with people, with work, things like that. And it can kind of help, I guess, make them frustrated, because as a kid, they've always been like in this like happy-go-lucky type of lifestyle that as they get older, it's just harder to manage all of those like responsibilities. They have to awaken to those things. Yeah. So being stuck and trapped is actually their greatest nightmare.
And that's what, 3, they're about freedom, expression, spontaneous, adventurous. Imagine someone that thrives in that area and is stuck and is trapped, like you don't have that free flow energy of creative energy. Creative energy is constantly flowing. And if you're stuck or trapped, you're not going to be able to express your true authentic self.
Exactly. And, like with that too, like a life path 3 having another challenge of, if they can't follow their blueprint or follow their heart, like over time, their spark will usually go out. And these people, like life path 3s, they are actually given like this massive amount of like talents. Like the universe loves them, they're the universe's favorite child. The universe is looking at them like, you're my child. Here's all of the talents. I'm going to give it to you. But the one thing about life path 3 when they come here is that they have to actually figure out how do they implement all of these talents into like something greater, right? And so a lot of times if they don't follow that spark, or they don't like keep that spark going, they kind of get into this like low energy state of mind, even like a deep dark depression, pessimism. They don't really, they're not utilizing their skills well enough. So how do you bring the spark back, right? So if you are a life path 3, it's important to make sure that you're doing a lot of inner child healing. And the way that you do that is literally by doing things that you would do as a child. So creative, artwork, things like that, scheduling fun activities, things that not a lot of, adults would do, but at the same time, it's a way for you to connect to your inner child. And, it's like a way of like self-care. So get out, like meet new people, like make sure that you're stimulating your mind. You're making sure that like you have somebody to express yourself to. They're not meant to be tied down. And they say this metaphorically too. Like imagine trying to tie down air.
Yeah, that's impossible.
Yeah, like
how do you do that?
You can't, So since they have like a disproportionate amount of like talents and things that they're good at, you kind of have to figure out what you do with it, because at the end of your life, you're going to be sitting there questioning like, what did I do? Like when I was 20 years old, like, did I take that opportunity? When I was 30, I should have, went to school or whatever it was. Like they have like all these opportunities given to them too. And a lot of times if they don't seize the opportunity, they're actually, they're going to live with regrets at the end of their life, because the universe loves them. The universe said, hey, here's all of your talents.
Yeah, it's like wasted talent, wasted strengths and gifts and abilities. And of course, like in a way that would be failing, your life purpose too.
Exactly. And the thing about a life path 3 too is that they're actually meant to explore outside of the ordinary. So once they can kind of like realize that, oh, my life, I'm meant to take risks, I'm meant to like be free flowing, I'm meant to kind of get out there and do things that maybe even my own family wouldn't do, that's when they're going to start thriving, because their life path is not meant to stay in the same place. They're meant to go out, explore, be free,
Be different, get out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're also a very fast-paced life path. So very bold moves, they take a lot of risks. They have rapid shifts. And it's mostly because life path threes are not afraid of failure. They're not afraid to mess up. If they mess up, they can get back up. They can laugh about it, A lot of other life paths, it's harder for them to kind of like take those risks like life path three. But life path three, they're kind of meant to be like that because they have that in their nature. It's their personality too.
Those are all really good strengths to have already. But the one thing that life path 3 lacks is that groundedness and that responsibility, those practicalities to really bring in and embody those creative energies and like outlets that they have.
Exactly.
Yeah, so sometimes like things can like, come up in your head and they're great ideas, but it might be hard for you to actually implement them in the real world, physical.
Exactly, yeah. So, and that's the thing too, is that threes, they got to learn how to ground themselves, but at the same time, I feel like if you're a pretty evolved three, like I said, you have both masculine and feminine, make sure that you're balancing those two energies, because the one thing about a life path three too is that they're very present type of people. They don't think so far into the future, and they also don't dwell in the past. They're very like, let's live in the moment, like let's live now, forget about tomorrow, forget about yesterday, and they don't allow their past mistakes to like take over them, because like I said, a lot of times they can kind of like laugh about it and just be like, whatever, But I guess, a lot of their blessings is that they know how to like make sure that their life is fulfilled. They know how to like be happy in life and thrive on, exploring. They also thrive on traveling too. So
Adventures.
yes. If you're a life path 3, make sure that you travel. They say that, like I said, you are the golden children. So you attract the right people, abundance. And they say that life path 3 is also one of the life paths that is most likely to win the lottery. So
yeah, so if you're life path 3, go shoot your shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, kind of going off of like the universe saying like, hey, this is my favorite child. They also have this blessing, this huge blessing of like abundance. Like, we're going to give you this promotion. We're going to give you this inheritance, like just random stuff, because they're just extremely connected to abundance. Because they are the Holy Trinity. So they get a bunch of handouts, and it's because the universe loves them. So a lot of times you'll see a life path 3 will get all of these gifts, all of these abundance, all of these things. And you're kind of looking at them like, you don't even deserve this. Like, what did you do to like deserve this? And it's true. They actually didn't like necessarily deserve it, but it's just handed to them. And that's a part of their blueprint, Yeah.
And those are the blessings that comes with a life path 3. But also the challenge with that is that they're not responsible with money. And that's like the practical part of themselves, where you said like they're just focused on the here and now. Yes. They don't really think about what the future holds and what they want for the future to come.
Exactly. And that is something that they're gonna have to learn as they get older. So it is said too, life path 3s, they are a treasure. They come here to inspire, to create. They have a lot of energy and inspiration. So they don't, like you said, they don't really take life too seriously, but they have everything they want. And at the end of the day, they're here to kind of like break those societal norms and like reshape the world in a way, where we don't have to always take everything so seriously. Sometimes we can just let it go, be free, and you can learn a lot from a life path 3, in the most like irresponsible way. But it's good.
Yeah, I will say life path 3s are amazing for people that are very grounded, and it's good because I was a very grounded person. She helps like bring that feminine side out, or that creativity, just go with the flow, adventurous, and it's just amazing to have a friend or like a partner that's life path 3. And they're very lucky, so who knows, you might get some of their luck. Their energy, that lucky energy. But yeah,
Beautiful,
some
yes.
careers that are really good for life path threes is because they have so much creative energy within them. They're known as the natural designers or the creative geniuses. Usually they embark in like more artistic fields, like either writing, they can be acting too, it can be drawing, journaling, any field that allows you to express your creativity. It doesn't even matter what it is, it just
Yeah.
has to be creative. This is when your true talents emerge because you will be able to look beneath the surface of things too. So go within, dive deep, because that'll help you find your creativity. For love, actually, life path threes, they might be very compatible with life path fives. Fives are also very spontaneous and adventurous, and you will get along very well. But the only thing is they are both risk takers, so the relationship might not be as grounded, but it'll be very thrilling, very fun. If you like that, you want that, go for a life path 5. Life path 7s are also really good because they get along. 7s are very intuitive and they're very thoughtful, which will help kind of drive life path 3's creativity. They are a little more grounded, so this could help life path 7s balance a little bit. And the only downside is that life path 7, they're not as adventurous or, spontaneous as 3. So might clash a little there, but that's not a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, kind of going off of like the career too, like you'll see a life path 3, they don't really like to grind or like, like they don't work that hard a lot of times, like with a 9 to 5 job, because they like they want to be free. You know what I mean? They get bored easily. So it's important for them to kind of just select like their occupation carefully.
Yeah.
And at the same time, same thing with relationships, like I mean, I'm not saying anything, but sometimes, maybe these type of people that they might not be compatible with, they could get bored of as well.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to make sure that you're helping the 3 like ground themselves, but at the same time, like be just as optimistic as a 3 as well, So yeah, make sure that you're choosing the right partner, the right career, that's going to be compatible for you and benefit you, especially since life path 3, they're so youthful. They need to, they kind of need somebody who's also going to
be more responsible,
Yes.
more mature, because they are the child. Okay. So they did say life path 1s would be really good for 3s because they are that masculine, that kind of like the father, where they take care of the child. And 1s will appreciate 3s a lot because 3s like to stroke their ego. It makes them feel good about themselves because they're all about themselves,
Yeah.
But 1s can also push 3s professionally too and kind of ground them and push them towards like their goals and like bringing their creative ideas to life and be more practical through that. The only thing that might be difficult with a 1 is that 1s don't really like 3s that much because they lack focus. They're kind of like all over the place, but that's usually not a deal breaker for them. They're a power couple.
Yeah. All right. So kind of moving forward to, so if you were born on the day of a 3, a 12, 21, or 30. So I do want to put out a quick disclaimer. If you're born on these days, it holds the energy of a 3, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a life path 3. So just make sure that you're separating those out a little bit. So if you were born on the day of a 3, 12, 21, or 30, it's all about expansion, growth, and also the number of creativity, like confidence and entertainment. So these are true entertainment people, like the true jokesters. You'll see, like, I know, like, even my brother was born on a 21, my sister's born on a 21, like, they're just completely hilarious. I have a cousin who's born on the 3. Like, these people, like, they will joke with you like till the end of the day, literally. So these people, they love dancing, music, art, entertainment. They're also connected to like this Pisces and Sagittarius energy. And also, if you are a Pisces or Sagittarius, they do say that you two, like these two astrological signs, are the universe's favorite child. So that's why it's kind of integrated in there too. So 3 is like, they have like this overindulgent, they could be like jealous or vain sometimes. And, you kind of have to be careful with like having a sort of like anxiety as well when it comes to health, because, I feel like 3 sometimes they don't really know how to balance it. So it's so important to make sure you balance both the logic and the feelings that you have. it is an independent number that seeks a lot of freedom. So that's why they're very free spirited. They have to always express themselves in the most healthiest way. You can't stagnate them. Like, they have to get out. They have to be around people, community, communicate. They have to like talk things out. And just with that, I feel like they say, like, if it's not rain, it's liquid sunshine. That's what they are. These people always see the best in things, and they're meant to kind of just grow and expand, like they're kind of like this plant, like where they can just, if you water them, they'll grow and they'll shine and they'll be like this amazing little creation, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, and then lastly, some advice that I would like to give to Life Path 3. Make sure that you're going towards your passions, follow your heart, because at the same time, you don't want to live with any regrets. And a lot of times, threes, they can't be in the energy of like holding themselves back. So make sure that you go out before your motivation is gone. Recognize all of the opportunities in your life. They say that Life Path 3, the answer is always yes. So if there's an opportunity out there for you, make sure that you're saying yes to it, so that later down the road you won't regret that. Remember that threes are also the balance of water and fire. So you already have it within you, So balance that logical mind and that emotional heart, You have to learn how to be the full like trinity. That's how you can like thrive to your greatest potential.
Yeah, connecting the two for sure.
So yeah, if you if you love to travel, go travel, do something in the spotlight. Start a podcast like this,
Yeah, it's a form of like expressing your communication side too. Your voice is your power, very in that throat chakra. So make sure you have a healthy throat chakra, have an outlet for that. I would also say, because you have so much creative energy, making sure your sacral is healthy too is really good, because when you have a lot of that stuck energy in your sacral area, you can tend to get moody or irritated because you're not having a free flow of like that creative energy that you're used to.
Exactly.
Usually like, creative people, they get like creator's block too, and so this can like kind of tend to like bring your energy down a little bit. So work with your sacral, make sure you have a healthy like creative outlet, and you usually feel more fulfilled through that.
For sure. Find your inner artist. Every single Life Path 3, you have some sort of niche, that you are good at, whether it's like literally anything from knitting, pottery, artistry, like just drawing.
Something you're interested in.
Yes. It can be anything, so just find it. You have it in you. So yeah. All right.
Thanks for listening in for Life Path 3s. Make sure you share this to anyone that you know is a Life Path 3, or, if you learn something you do like a Life Path 3, go find yourself a friend, and you'll never get bored because they are the entertainers. They will talk your head all day long, but trust me, they're great people. And thank you so much for watching this episode. Make sure to tune in for Life Path 4, and we'll see you next time.
All right,
bye.